Okay. So we are here to listen to the ancestors. And so many times in our life and in our journeys and the work we do, we come to ask the ancestors questions. We have something we want to know from them. And today, what we're going to do is a different dynamic. And I'm asking you quite simply to invite the ancestors to come. To invite the ancestors to come and talk to you, and then we are here to listen. And we're here to listen to everything that the ancestors have to say. So it's quite possible that the ancestors have things they want to say that are not the questions we would have had. And it's possible that the ancestors are going to have a conversation, and it'll be like when you're a child and the adults are having a conversation and you're just witnessing. And maybe you're going to be listening to the ancestors and they're going to ask you questions. So it's just to open up to this whole domain that we sometimes think of listening as something that is passive. And I would like to invite you to think of listening as this extraordinarily passive, active receiving. And so as we receive, there are different ways that we can receive in our body. So as we're going through this journey, there'll be moments where I'm going to invite you to do something in particular. So for example, and Prakesh has started, which is just good. There'll be moments where I'm going to invite you to massage yourself, to rub your face, or rub your head. So just do it now. It's a way of listening. It's a way of listening to your body. And it's a way of saying, hey, when I rub my hands together, I really feel my hands. I can feel my skin. I can feel what's below my skin. But I can also become aware of the air and the energy around my hands. And your arms. And you can hug yourself. And each time, as you sort of take yourself in your arms, give yourself a big hug. Come on, Prakesh. There you go. Hug yourself. Yeah. Squeeze. And just feel. You can feel your body. You can feel what's under your hands. And when we sit silently and squeeze, you can also feel the energy in the air and the space around us. You notice that? And in fact, I can feel under my hands and under my skin, and just notice that under your skin, there's an energy, there's something there. And then put your attention around your skin, around your shoulders, and there's an energy there. And then, actually, your body is solid and your body has holes in it between the cells and between the atoms that have a nucleus and their protons that roll around, and just feel the energy goes through you. Now I invite you can kind of tap, tap the top of your body, tap your belly. Yeah. That creative mind, he was saying there's a brain in the heart, there's a center here. In some cultures, they call it your heart chakra. There's your heart center. There's your sternum center. There's your belly center, or your hara. Some of us are fat deposits. And just feel, listen to your body. And you can rub yourself and rub the back at the bottom of your spine, just where it divides into your butt. There's a place, and just rub that place, rub it. You can rub it with your left hand, your right. You can make little circles, or you can go up and down. And notice, how does it feel? Notice the energy. And if you can lean back in your chair and rub your back against the chair, or rub your back against the wall, and just notice, what does it feel like? Stop for a moment. What does it feel like? What does it feel like inside your body? What does it feel like around your body, around your back? And then as you inhale and exhale, just notice how the energy goes through your body. So wiggle in your chair. Wiggle, 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 move. And listen to how you're moving your body. Are you moving your head, your neck, your shoulders, the bottom? How are you? Is it a vertical wave? Is it a horizontal wave? Is it a circle? Is it a shimmy? Sometimes we act as if listening is only done with the ears, going to the brain. But in fact, we listen with our whole bodies. We listen. So rub your thighs and tap on them and shake them. And notice how your thighs are connected to your back. Can you feel your thighs connected to your shoulders? Listen. And as you listen to your thighs, do they want to be rubbed, or do they want to be tapped? Do they want to be squeezed? Just listen. What are your thighs asking you for? Listen. And rub your knees, or pinch them, or hold them, or tap them. You could tap them like little raindrops, or with your hand, or just hold them. But most importantly, if you listen to your knees, what are your knees saying? And rub your leg, and you're going to rub your feet. So those of you who are sitting in a chair and you have on shoes, you've got a big job ahead of you to pick up your feet. Yes. And from your knee to your foot to your toes, rub it maybe knead it like bread. Hold your feet, squeeze them, tap them, maybe little raindrops. And if you listen, as you listen, not if, but as you listen, as you listen. As you listen, your hands will know, they will hear. And I invite you to be curious about how you listen to your feet. And if you listen to your big toe, and in English, rub the soles of your feet. And the soles of your feet in English is spelled S-O-L-E-S and S-O-U-L-S. And then just for a moment, listen to your body. Listen to the sounds, the energy. Listen to the space around your body. And what's the smell? I invite you to listen to your other foot. Is the other foot interested in being touched? Listen. And as you touch and squeeze and tap and make raindrops on your leg, ankle, foot, listen, is there a particular place that's calling you? Listen to your knee. Listen to your ankle. Listen to the space from your knee to your ankle, to the heel, to the toes, to the sole, S-O-U-L, sole, S-O-L-E of your foot. Put your attention on the space around your foot. What do you hear? What do you feel as energy? Just listening. So I invite you to pull your toes and listen. So one of the ways I'll ask you to listen is that sometimes I will say to you, massage your body or move your body. And I'll invite you to do that as a way of listening. Sometimes I will invite you to hum. So I'd like you to hum right now. How do you hum? And humming is also a way of listening. How do you listen with your humming? And then there are times when I ask you to listen with gibberish. And gibberish is no words, just sounds, and just let the sounds come. And the gibberish, saying the sounds aloud and hearing them. It's very interesting that in all the cosmogonies in the world, in inventing the world, there was sound made. So as you listen, just listening, and then there'll be moments where I'll say gibberish, and just listen and let the gibberish come through you. Just listen. And then there are moments where I will say to you, draw. And I ask you to bring your colored pens, and I have crayons. And I also have pastels, and my crayons. And when I ask you to draw, just draw. So you can see when I ask you to draw, this is one of my drawings. So you see, I'm not asking you to produce the Mona Lisa. Drawing. And I'll ask you to draw, and you just keep drawing until I say pause. And as you draw, you're listening, and the drawing will come, it will arise, will emerge. And if you're drawing and there's a word that comes up and you really want to write it, yes. But otherwise, just stay to movement and images and color. And then there are moments when I will say, write. And when I ask you to write, just take your pen and you keep writing. And just keep writing, and writing, and writing, and writing, and writing, and writing, and you're just going to write. So these are the ways that we will be catching what the ancestors are saying to us. This is how we're going to be listening. We're going to be listening through our body as an antenna. We're going to be listening with the sound that comes. We're going to be listening with images that we're going to make and with words that will come. And then at the end of the wave, we'll stop. Drink some water, because it's really important to keep your body hydrated in these processes. And you'll drink some water, and then we'll have a time just to integrate what has been there. And we'll get a chance to integrate as an individual. And then we will integrate by just sharing some of our pictures. And then we'll take a break. So also, the first wave will be very, very guided. And the second wave will be a little more free for you. And the third wave will be even more free for you. So now we're going to go to the space. And you will tell me if I'm speaking loud enough. So I have a space for writing and drawing. And I asked you to bring a bowl of water, some soil or earth, and air. So this is the bowl of air. And a candle. Yeah. And this is the fire. See the fire. So these are the elements. We have earth, air, water, and fire. And now we're going to begin with air. And I'd like to invite you to put your fingers in the air. Put your fingers in the bowl. And sometimes we would say this bowl is empty. But in fact, we know it's full of air. So just feel the air in the bowl. It's full of air. And notice the feeling of the air on your fingers. And this is the element of air that we bring to the ancestors. And if you think this bowl is empty and air counts for nothing, just imagine if you have no air, you die. And sometimes air seems like nothing, and sometimes air is strong winds, and air is what causes mountains to disintegrate. It's very strong in wearing it away. And if you put your fingers in the water, notice the water. And the element of water, it washes you, it cleanses you, it's refreshing. And too much water is a flood. You can drink water and you can drown in water. You just feel the water. Notice it. And then you have earth. And put your fingers in the earth and feel the earth. My earth is actually sand from the beaches in California. and I live in Paris, and I had this earth brought to me, and I like the feel of it. Just notice the feel of the earth you have. And earth is good for grounding. Ground yourself in the earth. And earth is good for putting seeds in, and something grows out of it. And in the sand, there are animals, like in the earth, that live. And you can be buried in the earth also and die. And then you have fire. So I want you to touch the fire without burning yourself. And fire is good. It keeps you warm. You cook your food. It's light. And if you're not careful, you can burn yourself. So you will notice that all of the elements are here. And the elements are neither good nor bad, or they're both good and bad. But these are the elements of life. And now we're going to, invite our ancestors to come. So your ancestors are the ones who have your blood, your DNA, and you have ancestors behind you. Many, many, many generations of ancestors behind you. Men and women going back and back and back and back. And there is you here. And some of your ancestors are not your blood and DNA. Some of your ancestors are the people who thought and lived in a way that has inspired you and impacted you. And you might say, wow, this person was a spiritual, energetic mother, idol to me, or a father, a figure, an older sister, an older brother, someone who has impacted your life, and they are an ancestor. And then in your ancestors, you have moments, movements, energies in time. In my ancestors, there was slavery, there was genocide. And those events are also in my ancestors and has an impact on me. And some of our ancestors are benevolent. And some of our ancestors are badass motherfuckers. They do not want your good. They are evil. So what I want you to do now is you're going to say, I have boundaries. I have boundaries. Put up your boundaries.
I have boundaries.
Yeah, I have boundaries. Put up your boundaries. Inside my boundaries, I'm safe.
Inside my boundaries, I'm safe.
And I invite the ancestors.
Invite the ancestors.
I invite you all.
Invite you all.
And if you don't know how to behave, you go to the elements and you nourish yourself and you stay over there and nourish yourself.
Don't know what to do, but
And it's important. Show them these are the boundaries and show them that is where you go. If you don't know how to behave, if I don't feel safe with you, you go nourish yourself. You go to the air, the earth, the water, the fire. You go nourish yourself. Maybe there's something that you didn't get when you were here and you need it. Go get it. And you respect my boundaries. And you feel that intention. You should feel it in your hand. You should feel the energy of your intention is I am here to listen to you in safety. And you are here to nourish yourself as you need it. So boundaries, and this is where they go to get nourished. Okay. And if at some point you need help to keep your boundaries, just say Kathleen, and I'll come and help you with the energy. Because not all ancestors are benevolent. Some of them are in pain. Some of them are angry. Some of them are just badass motherfuckers. Your job is not here to deal with that. You're here to listen. And maybe the angry ones have something to say to you, but they say it from a place where they are nourished. Listen. Okay. You have your beans. Okay.
I don't.
You don't have your beans.
I'm gonna get it.
Go get your beans. Yeah. So the beans. There are many places in Africa where you would set out beans and lentils. Okay. You've got your beans. Yeah. Okay. So your beans represent your ancestors. So just feel them and say, welcome to your ancestors. And as you look at the beans, you will see that some of them look the same and some of them look different. You have some that are more round than others, some are longer than others, some have a long white eye and others don't. Just gaze at them and say, welcome. And feel how they feel. Notice them. These are the ancestors. These are the ancestors. Yes. Welcome. I am so looking forward to listening to you. In fact, as you play with them and feel them, you can already feel the sound of your ancestors in the bowl. And some of my ancestors are falling on the ground and I hear the sound, and I can make one fall at a time, or I can drop them and it sounds differently. Welcome. Welcome to the ancestors. Okay, so we put this down. And so now we have our ancestors, we have the elements, we have our bodies to listen. We've got paper, crayons, pastels, pens to listen. We have our boundaries. We have our safe space to listen. We have our water. Most of our body is made of water. So we want to keep our body with lots of water to integrate. And so just for one moment, just feel that we are ready to begin. Your space is ready, and you will need a space to lay out your ancestors. So, any questions? So, in just a moment, our official hereditary gonger is going to begin. And I stop the recording here because we're going to begin the process of meeting our ancestors. So this is the end of our journey, having encountered ancestors. And we've taken the time to encounter 3 different generations of ancestors. And what is it now that you're taking away from having listened to these 3 generations of ancestors?
I feel very comforted. All will be well, all is well. Blessings to them.
Bilanda?
I feel liberated, and I feel this session made those ancestors possible to talk to me and also to relax and go in a position of rest. And that feels like a liberation for them, but also like a really freedom for me to be, like really now full in my power.
Thank you.
For me, I have a realization that through this journey, I was trying to look for the ancestors, but then found that the ancestors are already in me, and it enabled me to connect to ancestors, my grandfather and grandmother, whom I've never ever met. So that means that all of those ancestors are within me and available to me forevermore.
That's nice to feel and know.
Yeah.
Or benefit from support to really listen. I'm grateful for being helped with that. I notice a lot of difference in the body, a bit like a bell being struck and vibrating, and I have this feeling, oh, I want to see what I dream tonight. I'm excited about dreaming.
Yeah.
And for me, I feel surprised again that there's a moment where the ancestors have very direct messages for me. And then sometimes it's them working through, talking about their stuff, and I'm just witnessing their conversation. But it offers them a space to speak and communicate and talk. So thank you very much. I invite you to leave space and time for this to integrate and digest, and for the ancestors to be able to come and continue talking to you. And maybe they will come in your dreams, and maybe they will come when you're walking. And so now we close this session. We close this special moment, which was really a time of listening to the ancestors. And it's important to close it. So I invite our master intergenerational music man to sound the gong. And this special session is closed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And so now you have seen how we put into place this work with the ancestors. And you have heard what people get out of working with the ancestors. And these are the generations of ancestors you see here. This first being is me, and this is a generation and a generation and a generation. And you can see how the beings, the ancestors, are in different positions. Some are close together, some are very close together. In my configuration, there's never just four, there are groups of ancestors. So this idea that the ancestors are your DNA ancestors and more than that. And you remember that before we worked with the ancestors, we took time to set up, these are my barriers, my boundaries, so that I'm safe. And this is not really a work that one should jump into by yourself, unaccompanied or alone. So what I'd like to give you here is a guided practice that's safe to do after you have declared your boundaries. And it's really going to be taking the time to use the elements of fire, of water, of earth, and of air. So what I'd like to invite you to do is rub your body. Yes, rub your body, move around a little. And now you're going to take the time to just connect with your ancestors. And I invite you to take your left hand or your right hand or both hands and just to take the time to say to your ancestors, I am here to listen to you. And how much fire do you need? Do you want? I'm listening. I'm listening and I'm bringing you fire to burn away what you don't need. I'm bringing you fire to warm your hearts, to cook your food, to keep your bodies warm. To be close to the fire and not burn yourselves. I listen to you. How much fire? And just listen to the ancestors and how much fire. And send them, receive the fire, and let it go through you to the ancestors. And here we have water. Water is cool and fresh. Water to quench my thirst. Water to wash, to cleanse. Water to drink, not to drown. And just feel the water. And I bring to my ancestors water. What is the water you need? I listen. I listen. I listen and I bring you water. I listen. And just listen to how much time your ancestors need water. Listen. And when it's the right time, feel the water on your hands. Rub the water. Let the water evaporate and dry. And this is offering to your ancestors the water that they need to quench their thirst, to wash, to cleanse. Water to drink. Respecting the water, floating in the water, not drowning in the water. And then take your ancestors and ask them, do they need air? Is this something they need? Yes, no. A little air, no air. And just remembering, air may seem empty, but when you have no air, you cannot breathe. So Listen to your ancestors. How much space, how much air do they need? Do they want? Just listen. Just listen. And you can pause this recording if they need more air, more space. And just remembering that it is air, the wind, that wears away the rocks. So as empty as air may seem, air is a force. And how much? Just listen. Just listen. And now take your ancestors to the earth. Grounding in the earth, feeling the support of the earth. Feeling their feet, their roots in the earth. Resting, feeling supported, resting. Listen. Listen to your ancestors. How much earth do they need at this moment? Just listen. Do they need earth to put seeds in its soil so that the seeds will grow? Do they need soil to bury their dead? Listen. And you may want to stop the recording so your ancestors can get more earth, to feel supported, to feel grounded. And then just take your hands and go over how much fire, how much air, how much water, how much earth do they need right now? Just listen and send them what they ask for. Just listen. And when you have nourished your ancestors, listen to what they need now. Listen if there's something more they would like. And then just stretch. And take your colors and move. And what is the drawing? What colors? What are the colors? What's the shape? What's the form? And you're just moving and drawing. And take the time to just draw what the ancestors wanted to say to you. And follow the form and just follow the movement and draw. And when you have expressed in your drawing the message from the ancestors, just take time to look at it and feel it. And then take the drawing and put it to the side and take your pen and take the time to write. And just writing and just writing. And what is coming through? What is emerging as you write? And just keep writing. And you may not know what you're writing. Just feel it, just emerge writing. And you can hum as you write. Or you can be in silence. And just keep writing. And when you're finished, look at your picture. Look at your writing. And take the time just to integrate it. And then I invite you to say thank you. So I invite you to take this safe journey by yourself of listening through your body, listening with your humming to the ancestors, and then simply nourishing them with the elements. It's a practice that takes about 10 minutes. And then taking the time to draw and to write. Thank you for this journey of listening to the ancestors.